What's up, everybody? Gustin Time here with a quick breaking news update. For about the last 45 minutes, I have been watching live on YouTube a government hearing, a congressional hearing about UAPs and UFOs. Lou Elizondo, along with a bunch of other whistleblowers, have been talking to Congress about a project that has just come to light called Immaculate Constellation. The purpose of this project has been to analyze and research and look into UFOs and UAPs. Don't know how long this has been going on, but it's been going on for a while. It's another secret program where they've been looking into the things that are flying above our country and across the world. Some of the key points here is that these guys have been talking about the speed of these craft and the fact that it's documented and no one's talking about it. So let's start with a little background on the documentation. So they're not releasing this stuff, and it seems to be a national security measure, which I can kind of understand. I don't know of any country on the planet that is willing to admit that they can't do anything about some things flying over their country that they don't know where they came from. Seems at least kind of reasonable. They don't want to admit weakness. However, the way they're going about keeping it secret kind of sucks. We need to get to a point where governments of the world feel comfortable enough with each other to share all of this information with the public. Because I kind of want to know what the hell's going on. I'd like to know more about the universe and the world that we live in. I'm sure a lot of you do too. A lot of the information for me is not new, but I've been reading about this stuff and doing research for about 30 years. So I've heard a lot and I've seen a lot. The speed at which these things move is just unimaginable. There was testimony that some USOs, that's right, unidentified submerged objects, have actually outpaced nuclear submarines, which is wild. Something else they talked about was the amount of G-forces that these craft seem to be able to withstand. Up to 3,000 Gs, which is insane. The human body can withstand about 9 Gs, but not for very long. Then you're going to black out, red out, and possibly even die. But here's the crazy part. So some of our fighter jets, they're capable of about 17 Gs before they structurally start to fall apart. So imagine traveling 3,000 Gs. The amount of force on that it can't be any kind of material made on this planet. Not even tungsten carbide. So a lot of this stuff is coming out. They've been talking about reverse engineer programs, biologic entities that have been recovered. I've heard about this stuff for a long time, but it's still very cool to see it being broadcast live on YouTube and to hear that Congress is actually interested in this stuff. We're in a different world now. It's not like it was even 20 years ago. This stuff wasn't being talked about at all. And now we've got it live streaming on YouTube for the whole world to see. It's pretty exciting if you ask me. If you're not well versed in this stuff, I definitely suggest going on YouTube and looking up these congressional hearings. If you want to learn more about what's going on and what the government's doing about it, great information. Old people like me who have been doing this for decades, you're probably not going to hear anything you didn't already know or suspect was going on. But it's great to see that whistleblowers are coming forward and talking to Congress, and it's even more great to see Congress actually listening and having questions about it. I think it's fantastic. There's talk about a project for the U.S. to go back to the moon. We'll be talking about the moon coming up on an episode of Gustin Time and what I think about the moon. That might be the one where, everyone just calls me a lunatic from now on. But on the next episode of Gustin Time, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite books written by a good friend of mine who sadly passed away at the end of last year, Christopher O'Brien. He wrote a series of books about the San Luis Valley, which is where I live. So I'm rereading The Mysterious Valley. I've been watching some documentaries that have Chris in them, seen some other faces of some other friends that I know in these documentaries. One of them I watched, I wanted to punch a guy right in the fucking face within 5 minutes of watching it. Just absolute ridiculousness. And so that's what we're going to talk about next time on Gustin Time. I don't know if my co-host is going to join me for that one or not, but you'll get to meet my co-host soon, I promise. Until then, none of this makes any sense, and we'll see you in time. Gustin Time, that is.